It was 81, I was trying to leave the war behind, looking for peace and a place I could store my mind. In the forest ponds of the high Sierras, course, what was sure to find me there was fate. It's got a funny way of catching up to you. Sarge tracked me, offered up a...
This is Carson from 3D Joe's. I am knee-deep in U.S.S. Flagg art restoration, and I thought it would be cool to do a screen capture of this and show you guys the restoration process. Just give you an idea of what I do, and hopefully an appreciation for the work that goes into it. So anyway, the U.S.S. Flagg obviously is a huge document. The one that I'm working on right now, if I go into Photoshop and check the image size, you can get an idea of the scale of this thing. It is 43 inches by 30 inches at 300 dpi. This is a massive document. Let's look at it in the Finder real quick. Close this screen capture out. Alright, so I'm working on this document right here, which is close to a gigabyte, 909 megabytes at the moment is the document that I'm working on. So how did we get here? The first thing we did was take a rolled U.S.S. Flagg piece of box art. Somebody got this box back in the day, peeled the artwork off of it, and rolled it up for preservation purposes. Just amazing that somebody had the foresight to do that. Really grateful that they did. Really grateful to Terry Dizzard at Yo-Joe for loaning this to me, and super happy about teaming up with Terry to make this poster a reality. So first thing I did was take this to a large scanner, about 11 by 17, and I was able to scan the entire document in 9 scans. So I have bottom 1, 2, and 3 going from left to right, and I have the middle 1, 2, and 3, and then I have top 1, 2, and 3. And just to be safe, I also scanned the right hand side. I was having some particular trouble with that side because there was a tear in the paper, and I was able to work through that. You can actually see the tear right about here coming across. So I scanned it a couple times to get less reflection in the scan. Once I had those 9 scans, I then took it into Photoshop and did a process called stitching, which is where you take multiple layers, and you can see over here on the right hand side, here's the top left, top middle, top right, and here's the middle left, middle middle, and middle right, and here's the bottom left, bottom middle, and bottom right. So you can go through here and basically, one at a time, get these things lined up, and then add the next one and line that up. And one thing you'll notice here is that I'm cutting along edge lines to hopefully make as seamless a transition as possible from one scan to the next. I spent a lot of time working to make sure that the transition from one scan to the next is seamless, or that the seams are not noticeable. So yeah, these are the 9 images after I've gone in and done some some cropping, some rotation, some skewing, warping if I have to. And this gets me to my workable image where I'm going to start really going in there and color correcting. A cool thing to do, you can grab all these layers. Let's see, grab all these, take the opacity down, and then you can see where the pieces are overlapping. So that's kind of interesting. I also have an image on my desktop that shows before I went through and cut out all of the various images for the edge to get to hide the seams basically. Here was what it looked like before I went through and did the selective edges. So these are all the 9 layers with the transparency turned down to maybe 50%, so you can see how much overlapping there was between the scans. So then once I've got everything stitched together, I'm ready to go in and really dig in there and start doing some Photoshop work. So this is where I spend hours upon hours. Once I had the stitching done the other night, I think I started at 6 p.m. and then I went through to 3:30 a.m. It was a good 9.5 hour grind, but you can see, I started with this image right here, and I'm not going to save that. Here's where we are to date. So I've gone ahead and laid in that old stitch document on top of the new restored document, and you can see kind of a before and after. And I'll put up some JPEGs of close-ups for before and after, so you guys can get a good idea of how much work has gone into this to date. Just in a couple hours of scanning, couple hours of stitching, and then like a 9-hour grind of Photoshop work. But here's a couple quick, before and after comparisons. There's after, all cleaned up in the explosion background, the G.I. Joe text. You can see this diagonal line right here in the middle going across. That was just paperware. That's been totally fixed. All this scuffing over here on the left-hand side and along the top. Obviously, all that stuff has to go. There's some wrinkles in the paper. But again, just brilliant that somebody took this artwork off the box and rolled it up for later preservation. So you can see, some big wrinkles going across the paper here. A lot of scuffing, just along the hull of the ship and just rubbing. There's some tape right here coming across. Someone had taped it at some point. And then the text, some of the text was actually torn through, not preserved. It's not that the scan didn't capture it all. It's that it wasn't all there from the way it was cut off with the razor. Actually, I don't want to utilize all that text anyway, so I've photoshopped that out. You can see where the hole's been repaired, all the rubbing's gone. So there's a good look at before and after, and I've gotten rid of some of that text at the bottom and really just kind of simplified this artwork. This is going to be a poster. This is going to be something that you hang on the wall. This isn't something intended to print and put on a cardboard box and try to fake it like it's a real Flagg box. This is a piece of artwork for you to hang on your wall. So what I have left to do is the Sky Striker, which has some wrinkling going across the middle and some scuffing. And I'm going to get into that later with a time-lapse video, and you guys can see how the magic occurs, the photo restoration. You might think it's magic, you might not. Magic might be a strong word. But anyway, here's a look at before and after on some more of the photos of the kids playing with the toys. Those are some lucky kids. I never had one of these growing up. And then some scuffing on the dragonfly and in the water and on the hull. So that stuff's all pretty much done. That's ready to go. So what's left to do is all of the deck, basically. You can see, that deck needs a lot of work there. And I'm going to dig in there and I'm going to finish that up tonight. And I'm going to do a screen capture and let you guys watch it. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of look inside at what I do here at 3D Joe's with my art restoration project. And again, I just want to say a huge thank you to Terry and Yo-Joe for teaming up with me to provide this piece. This is an amazing artifact. The idea that somebody cut this off the front of their box, rolled it up, and preserved it for later is just magical. I mean, I have a Flagg box, and it's nowhere near as good as this one, and I don't think mine would have been salvageable. So I don't think this poster would have happened without the team up between Yo-Joe and 3D Joe. So I certainly appreciate Terry and the guys at Yo-Joe. They do a great job. So anyway, I'm going to dig in. I'm going to do a time lapse, and you guys can watch me finish this thing up. And hopefully you will have this on your wall by Christmas. Yo-Joe.
Undercover to expose the core. Go to extremes in the process. Undercover to expose the core. The real definition of what a snake is. Undercover to expose the core. Go to extremes in the process. Undercover.
All right, so I'm back. I just thought as I was going through this, okay, maybe you guys would like me to do a little bit more of a tutorial. So for those of you that like Photoshop, enjoy spending some time in Photoshop and want to get better at photo restoration, heck, maybe you're already better than me, but you probably wouldn't be watching this video. Anyway, if you wanted some tips and tricks on how to do what I'm doing, I figured I'd go ahead and not just do the screen capture time lapse, but actually show you how to do some of the cleanup tricks that I'm doing right now. So my main tool of choice is the clone stamp tool. This is just an amazing tool, and basically what I have to do is, I go through, I quickly scan the document, I find where damages are that I want to repair, and then I have to go about doing one of two things: either using the clone stamp tool to find that pattern, that color, that texture elsewhere on the document and replace that, use that bit of texture, color, whatever from elsewhere on the document to cover up the damaged part. Or I go in with a paintbrush and have to basically paint it myself, and that's a lot harder. So there's these little bits of digital feedback, as you can see right here, the little red circle around the gray. Let me zoom in real close on those so you guys can see that. want to get rid of those. Those are scanning artifacts or printing defects. So I'll go into this clone stamp. I will make it significantly smaller. I usually use a harder edge because there's patterns in this stuff that you don't want to cause mores by overlapping them with a soft edge. So I basically select a color nearby that looks similar and then go right on top of the thing that you want to cover up. So there was that red circle and now it's gone. All right, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit and I will get to work and kind of talk you guys through what I'm doing, fixing things as I go. And I'll do this for a little bit and then I'll go back to the screen capture and we can see this thing through to its completion. It's about 10:15 right now. We'll see how long this takes. I do not expect to be going to bed anytime soon. All right. So you got to find similar colors, similar lines, similar angles to basically steal from with this clone tool to replace the stuff that you want to fix. So that's what I'll do. The smaller the messed up piece and the more like it's embedded in like these different shades of colors over here, the harder it is to fix. So like we know, for instance, that this line going through here is a smudge or a marker or something unintentional. So I'm going to zoom in there. I will actually, I'll try the clone tool, grabbing a little bit from right here, carry that back, see if that looks okay. It looks all right, but we know that's supposed to get to white there, so I'm not happy. So I'll use my brush tool. I will hold down the option button, select the color nearby, and we know that's supposed to go to white right there, so I'm just gonna cover that in. All right, not happy with that either. So there's nothing wrong with, as you go through and do this, if you don't like the results, undo, 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 go back and do it again until you're happy with it, until it looks like you think it's supposed to look. That's the number one lesson here. Make this look believable. I love doing this stuff. I feel like it's long overdue and valuable to the community. I know people want the Flagg as a poster. They've been asking for it for years, and so I'm excited to finally be able to provide that. And I'm excited to have one on my wall. I've got a Flagg box, but it's not going to be nearly as nice as this restored piece of artwork when I'm all done with it. So now I feel like that line is pretty much gone. So you can see before I cleaned up that stuff and then after I cleaned it up. Again, there's before and after. So I'm just going to keep bouncing around on this document, finding things that I want to fix. There's a lot of scratches, and so I'll select right next to the scratch over here, and then I'll select it. I'll start at the bottom, hold shift, go up to the top, go up to the top. Now that scratch is gone. Look at that difference right there. It's nice. And this is kind of therapeutic, man. It's a little bit like yoga for some people, I guess, where they say they get into that zone and it transports them, kind of an out-of-body experience or whatever. When I sit here and do Photoshop work, man, I just feel better. Everything's under control. Everything's cool. So this is my yoga. Let's pull out. And I tend to jump around a little bit. I don't lose my place too bad. I do a heavy scan of the document. I go in really close and totally double check it before I call it done. And I think it helps for me to bounce around a little bit. Sometimes, you get little lines like that red line, and it looks like that could be a marker scratch, but compositionally, it's not helping the artwork. It's not serving a purpose, so I get rid of it. There's some value judgments that have to be made in this process. To determine, is that a scratch or is that damage or was that what the artist intended? And if I don't think it's what the artist intended, then I'll get rid of it or clean it up. But I try to never change, compositionally any major elements of the artwork. Try to get it as true to the intended, kind of final masterpiece that these guys created. I believe this was still Hector Garrido at this time, who's an amazing artist who was contracted. Hasbro contracted a packaging company, and that packaging company contracted with Mr. Garrido, and he did all the figure packaging artwork and vehicle packaging artwork for the first several years, maybe up to the first 5 or 6 years of G.I. Joe, as well as the Find Your Fate books, which have some beautiful covers on them. If you don't have those yet, you can check them out on 3D Joe's, but I encourage you to go out and buy those. Let's keep this secondary market for G.I. Joe stuff in demand where it should be, because it's beautiful and there's nothing like owning the real thing. So go out there and get it.
Better find out before you time's out. Time's out.
Quick wit and a fast tongue, my dad's son. Only weaknesses are women and bad puns. Call me Chuckles, never left the job half done. Go ahead and laugh, I'll be sure I get the last one.
Jokes on you, Jack. Jokes on you, Jack. Jokes on you, Jack.
I worked my way in from the gutters, all the way up to high command. Chump wheel man to the commander's right hand. Off the land, off the grid, transmitter in my head. So in theory, they can even listen when I'm dead. Now there's a reason I'm the man that the general sent. Silently creeping in the tent, nobody's ever went deeper. Yeah, collecting more intel from foreign cells. Ignored the warning bells. Shot through the door to hell just to pass in my application. And only got time for one last assassination. But kill one snake, another takes its place. That's why with this nuclear sub, I'm about to lay to waste. 5 square miles of reptiles and reprobates. Fingers on the trigger, and my girl won't let me hesitate. This is why she died, now I can see it clear. Should've known when I arrived, I was never leaving here.
Came through the door, my mind was thinking all out war. Thinking all out war, thinking all out war. I'ma settle the score, one cent for all.
A quick wit and a fast tongue, yeah, guess I'm my dad's son. Only weaknesses are women and bad puns. Call me Chuckles, never left the job half done. Go ahead and laugh, I'll be sure I get the last one. Quick wit and a fast tongue, my dad's son. Only weaknesses are women and bad puns. Call me Chuckles, never left the job half done. Go ahead and laugh, I'll be sure I get the last one.
Alright, so then if I end up with kind of a color line there that I feel like needs a little bit more of a smoother transition, I'll make a larger brush and I'll soften the edge here, just like that. And then I'll come into the darker color and tab it right over the lighter color, and that gives you a smoother edge or a smoother transition from that darker color to that lighter color. Alright, so now we're obviously getting into the tires. We are really well zoomed in, but you know, we can make out the shapes and we know what we're working on. Working on the Sky Striker tires. So a side note about the old Sky Striker versus the new Sky Striker, which you guys may or may not have noticed, which is really cool, is that the old Sky Striker has the word Sky Striker emblazoned on the tire, which is just, you know, it speaks to the level of detail that these guys were getting into back in the day. I just absolutely love that. New Sky Striker's great. Glad they did it. Those of you that complain about one seat, come on, guys. I mean, it's based on a one-seater in reality, is, you know, so it's okay that it's a one-seater. Let's be happy about our Joes. Let's be glad they're still making them now and then for us. I'm off my soapbox. Happy trees. You might hear my wiener dogs. They're in the front living room looking out the window for squirrels. So if they see any, you will hear them. Tire's looking pretty good. Alright, back up to the missiles. So, I mean, you just go through patiently, little by little, and, you know, pan and scan across this document looking for damages, and diligently fix every last one of them. You have the power. You have the responsibility. So as you can see, I don't believe I've even pulled out the brush tool yet. I'm able to find nearby colors and patterns, and using this clone stamp tool, I've been able to fix all the damages on this Sky Striker so far. And again, that's the ideal method of cleanup, because the paintbrush, it just doesn't give you that same texture as cloning from another piece of this document will. Every now and then I can click back and then click forward in the history and kind of look at what I've fixed whenever I need to take a break and reassess and just make sure everything's moving in the right direction. I review my history. Alright guys, well, I'm going to continue with the screen capture so you guys can see this through to the completion, and maybe I'll come back online with some more talking points if I feel like there's something that would be beneficial to share. But thanks for watching, and more than anything, thanks for supporting me and my hobby. I love doing this stuff. It's certainly, I don't do this for a living. I don't do 3D Joes for a living. I do it nights and weekends, like my yoga, to help clear my mind, and I feel great about doing it. And you guys' positive feedback really keeps me going.
Surrender, Joe.
I worked hard, had a wife, walked my kid to his school. A simple fool like my brother, who fought in their wars in exchange for a drinking problem and a loss of support. Not anymore. They found his body spread across the highway, head-on collision with some family who couldn't drive straight. Irate, I lost the American dream. Went from selling used cars to running pyramid schemes.
Alright, so I'm back. I think I'm done with the Sky Striker, which is exciting. So I think I started maybe about 10 o'clock, and now it's 11:30. So you can see how the time just melts away. Anyway, so usually the last thing that I do is double check to make sure that I didn't miss any of the details before I move on to somewhere else on this piece of particular box art. So I'll zoom in really close, and then I'll just kind of scroll down and check everything. Everything looks pretty good. If I see any last little bits that I want to fix, then I'll go in and do that at this point. So yeah, scroll down. Now we're to the deck, and then I scroll over and scroll back up, and just kind of do this up and down, moving to the right, inspecting really closely to make sure that I haven't missed any creases, tears, tape residue, price tag residue, scanning artifacts, any of that kind of stuff. I want this to be as pristine an image as possible because I'm going to print it, and you guys are going to have it on your wall, hopefully. So I want to make sure it's as perfect as I can possibly make it. And it's looking good. So far, so good. Ah, that little tail wing right there has some scratches on it that I need to go in there and clean up. So I'll make a mental note of that. Continue scrubbing through. I know I just went down the edge of this wing, and that looks good. So I'm just going to clean up this little tail wing, and the Sky Striker will be done. Again, grabbing like a little diagonal line right next to the one that's damaged and cover that up. Same thing here, looking for these same kinds of pen strokes or brush strokes, and grabbing it as close next to the damage as possible so that you have the same colors in the gradations. I mean, things are always moving from one color to another when you're painting. There's always a mixture there, and so anytime you're clone stamping, you want to grab something as nearby as possible so that you will have consistent gradation. Alright, so this looks good. Sky Striker's done. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, kind of remind myself of what I've done already. So I've done the Sky Striker, I've done the boat, I've done the water, I've done everything around it. What's left is I left a little bit of dirt on the hull here because I think that looks great. Like that might be how the hull originally was. If not, I like that look that this boat's been out there for a while. It's got a little wear and tear on the hull. Dragonfly is good, the hull's good all the way around, that blaster's good. So what I will do is scan the deck real quick. I know I made it back all the way up to Bazooka. So I need to come in and touch up this Sky Striker. I can see some damages on the tail wing right there. I'm sure there's more. There's lots of damages all around on the ground here. Snake Eyes walking by the Sky Striker, that's pretty cool. Bazooka's driving the little gas truck. Barbecue's just walking along with his axe. Lady J's got her javelin. Shipwreck, once again, driving the boat. Crazy. There's several pieces of art from G.I. Joe in the 80s that have Shipwreck at the wheel, which is just ironic. Who would put a guy named Shipwreck at the wheel of an aircraft carrier? So I'm going to go in here and clean up this deck, and along with the vehicles and figures, characters that are on it, and that'll be it. So maybe a couple more hours. You guys can watch that on the time lapse, and then I'll come back.
Hoodwinking investors, that's where I got my first taste. Recruited like minds, we met on Thursdays, cause money buys weapons and very good lawyers. Next thing you know, I got an island plus some tank destroyers. I must be doing something right, is what I told myself. Kidnapping presidents, throw them in the holding cells. See, I'm like no one else, a rattle charmer, going to work in helmets, hoods, and battle armor. I'm a brainwashed, you bleeding hearts and hippies. Carve my face in the moon, so you'll never forget me. Put mind control in everything, perfume to chewing gum. Psychos and maniacs, I'm always interviewing some new members. Man, haven't you heard? Ask my accountant. He's the one dressed like a bird. I turn your town around till you're living like royalty, and all I ask is nothing but unquestioning loyalty. I'm the man, the mask, the myth, the urban legend, the snake in the grass that you're never sure where I'm heading. I be the vermin you're fretting, certain you're nervous and sweating from the way I earn my rep with less conservative weapons.
Our old enemy, Cobra Commander.
Got an appetite for destruction. 5 forces in your gravity with fly orders.
Operation Crush Planet Earth right palm.
I got burning ambition and a venomous ideology, a thing for snakes and cutting edge high technology. My economy, diamonds to ruples, and my philosophy, who needs scruples? Morality, ethics, those are just a curse to carry. If I got any problems, got a Rolodex of mercenaries to hurt and bury. I'm trying to keep the hate alive, no I'm not crazy, just dangerously destabilized. It pays to lie, truth is, whatever I say to guys, anything I don't like, I vaporize. Robots with laser eyes, zap your mom while she's baking pies. I'm Cobra Commander, exactly what the name implies. Take the prize for charismatic, sociopathic words. Hook you like some opium addicts. You're lonely and tragic, time to get open to havoc. Running rackets for whatever helps the scope of my ravage. To cope with the madness, you gotta be a bit nutty. I just wanna rule the globe, I'm not that fussy. Complete chaos, corporation layoffs, labor from your neighbors, doing favors for some payoffs. Make you quit your day jobs, stick it to your lame boss. Aiming for your veins, engrave my name in your brain house. Insane plots, that's what I consider mad fun. I love ideas, especially the bad ones. I'm the man, the mask, the myth, the urban legend, the snake in the grass that you're never sure where I'm heading. I be the vermin you're fretting. Certain you're nervous and sweating from the way I earn my rep with less conservative weapons.
Our old enemy, Cobra Commander.
Got an appetite for destruction.
5 forces in your gravity with fly orders.
Operation Crush Planet Earth, right paw.
I am back, and I believe I'm done, which is awesome. It's almost 3 in the morning. So yeah, it took about as long as I expected it would. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the time lapse and seeing a little bit of the process behind how I do image restoration. So there you can see the Sky Striker. It's all beautiful. And we can do a couple before and afters real quick. So there's before with a bunch of wrinkles and rubbing and basically just color breaking on the paper. So there's some before and after to give you an idea. And then I also just got done with the deck. Yeah, this is a good look. I mean, there's just a tremendous amount of wrinkling and damages there. So you can see what I just got done tonight. Just zooming in a little bit. That's a whole lot of stuff to fix. But it's done. So I'm excited. This is going to be a 24-inch by 36-inch poster. Everybody that signs up for the Yojo Pro subscription, the first 50 receive a poster. And also the Collecting the Art of G.I.Joe Volume 2, which features all the artwork from 1984 and 1985, all the painted G.I. Joe artwork from 1984 and 1985. That Kickstarter is going to offer this U.S.S. Flagg box as one poster on 24 by 36, and there'll be a second poster that's the rest of the vehicles from 84, 85. So it's going to be an awesome 2-poster series, and yet another book, Volume 2. So anyway, I hope you guys are as excited about it as I am. This has been a ton of fun, and again, I really appreciate Terry Dizzard hooking me up with the box art. So, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and yo Joe!
You can find me selling automatics to the melodramatic. They got the cash, I got a stash. It's a hell of a habit, well established in the practice of helping the masses blow up each other's stuff. I'm diplomatic, pragmatic, can't make a business out of acting nice. You're looking at the man who built the mass device. From satellites to plants that grow to massive heights. Got what you need, and I always get my asking price.